What if English history recorded that Richard the Lionhearted had learned a sword fight from an ogre? Or if Genghis Khan had ridden a unicorn into battle? Unfortunately, most medieval history doesn't get quite that interesting. But that's not so when it comes to Japan. Yes, Japanese history does get that interesting. Many genuine historical figures, immortalized in the bona fide Japanese history books, believed in a kind of mystical half-man, half-bird creature known as the Tengu. These fascinating creatures weren't only believed in back then. Many men were even trained how to fight by these creatures. Many, today, still insist they exist. According to a reliable source, the Tengu, a study of the Japanese mountain spirit, by Edward Sayers, the Tengu are humanoid creatures with bird-like features. Often with beaks, wings, and the ability to fly. They carry a feathered fan, thought to be able to control the wind. Originally seen as nature spirits of the mountains, they are still seen as protectors of nature's purity. But over time, the nature and the role of the Tengu evolved and became more closely linked to human spiritual practice. These are powerful beings, with telekinetic ability or the power to move things with their mind. This no doubt contributes, somewhat, to their well-known martial arts ability. There are endless tales of samurai warriors being trained in martial arts by these skilled, almost godlike masters of the fighting arts. If you thought that was plenty of power, however, we're not done yet. They can wield magic too, such as the power to weave illusions and shapeshift into animals. As said, with their feathered fans, they could control the winds, and so were often blamed for storms. In case you thought that wasn't enough, it's also thought people could become possessed by a Tengu. So, add mind control to their repertoire of amazing abilities. So, given this, it's pretty clear why people feared and respected these beings and were sure to respect the mountain wilderness, whenever their hikes took them that way. 4. These creatures were thought to be capable of quite wicked things when angered. They were known to enjoy playing nasty tricks, depending on what they think of you, and how respectfully you happen to be treading through the mountains. It's not all malevolence, though. These are dual-natured beings, meaning they were just as capable of benevolence. In fact, there's a whole religious practice in Japanese tradition called Shugendo that involves Tengu. Shugendo is about gaining enlightenment and powers through rigorous training and ascetic practices in the mountains. Shugendo practices involve meditation, fasting, rituals, and physical endurance, often performed in remote mountainous regions. The goal is to purify the body and mind, cultivate spiritual power, and gain insight into the mysteries of the universe. The mountains are seen as sacred spaces where practitioners can connect with the divine and the spirits of the land, including Tengu. For this reason, perhaps, Tengu are known to appear to those monks who do well in this kind of mountain meditation. In their benevolent form, Tengu can be protectors of the mountains, guides, and even spiritual teachers. They are guardians of sacred spaces, such as temples and forests, and can bestow wisdom and martial prowess upon those deemed worthy, such as those who they've observed doing well at Shugendo. However, they are also enforcers of moral and spiritual discipline, punishing the wicked while rewarding the virtuous. And, given all we've learned about their powers, these aren't the kind of enforcers you want to mess with. Many temples and shrines dedicated to Tengu exist throughout Japan, reflecting their importance in local folklore and religious practice. For instance, the Tengu Shrine in Kamigamo, Kyoto, is a place where Tengu legends are celebrated. And the monks there verify in a pretty solid way their belief in the legitimate existence of these creatures through their valuing of the tradition of Shugendo, as well as the statues and shrines they've erected to honor local Tengu. But even more verification of the Tengu's existence comes from legitimate historical texts. In the 14th century record, the Gaikeki, it was said the famous samurai and brother of the shogun, Minamoto no Yoshitsune, was trained in the martial arts by the Tengu king, Sojobo, who lived on Mount Kurama near Kyoto. As a child, Yoshitsune is said to have learned swordsmanship, tactics, and other combat skills under Sojobo's tutelage. This training allegedly gave him the extraordinary abilities that he later used in his military campaigns, most notably in the Genpei War, where he played a crucial role in the defeat of the Taira clan. Such tales of historically documented beliefs in warriors being trained by Tengu are rampant through Japan's early history. This is merely one of the most high-profile and documented accounts. Kashima no Tengu is a legendary Tengu said to reside in Kashima, an area associated with the Kashima Shrine. Countless samurai were said to have sought the guidance of this Tengu to improve their martial skills. The legend of Kashima no Tengu involves training and mentoring young warriors, helping them achieve greatness in battle through rigorous discipline and supernatural insight. And lastly, the historical text Azuma Kagami records the rule of the famous region of Japan during the Mongol invasions, Hojo Tokumune. He is famous for his role in defending Japan against the Mongol invasions in the late 13th century. Legend suggests that Tokumune received guidance from Tengu during these critical moments. The Tengu, in this context, are seen as protectors of Japan, helping Tokumune in his time of need. Given that we all know Japan was saved from invasion by the Mongol invaders by a so-called divine wind that sank all their enemies' ships in a devastating form, could there be some truth to the legendary record of this time period? Tengu were known to control wind and to create fierce storms. Did they save Japan? What do you think? Is this evidence compelling? At least we can say there is plenty of mention of them in Japan's history, with little indication that they are talking about imaginary creatures. So, it seems likely they were seen as real beings at the time. The unique Tengu blend of supernatural power and playful mischief, not to mention the deep spiritual power they possess, definitely paints the picture of a fascinating figure that I sure would like to catch a glimpse of somewhere in the mountains around the Kashima Shrine. And if I do ever find myself there, I'll tread lightly and I'll speak respectfully, come what may. After all, I'm under no illusions. I'm no match for creatures who basically deleted the Mongol horde. That just about wraps up tonight's tale from Lorehound. Follow us as we sniff out more of history's most interesting stories.
As the hound dog entered the dimly lit library, he sensed an aura of mystery surrounding the ancient scrolls. The dusty shelves towered above him as he sniffed his way through the labyrinth of books. Suddenly, he picked up a scent and followed it to a secluded corner. With bated breath, he approached the shelf and pawed at the book, revealing the hidden scroll. As he rolled it out, he knew he had discovered a treasure worth protecting at all costs.